and answer session. My first question is, how do we become more inclusive of diversity in the society? For instance, the northeast of India, if you see, is completely ignored. It's a fragment, it's been pushed out of this country. I mean, a lot of people, they don't even know what the 7 states of northeast are, or how the people are, or what their identity is. So how can we, as the youth, or all of us, change this? How do we become more inclusive? Because if you see, ignorance eventually leads to intolerance and communal problems and violence. So how do we become more inclusive of diversity today?
Can I tell you a joke? Are you okay? Can I? Some of you because some of you are looking so serious, I'm seeking permission. Joshua Goldberg was a Vietnam veteran in America, in New York City. One day, he ordered for pizza and a Chinese boy came to deliver the pizza. He took the pizza, paid him the money and punched him in the face. So the boy fell down backwards. Then he got up with a bloody nose and he said, "Why did you do that?" He said, "That's for Vietnam." He said, "I am not Vietnamese, I'm Chinese." So Joshua Goldberg said, "Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, they're all same to me." So the boy gathered himself and went. Later on, after having eaten his pizza, he was taking his bull mastiff for a walk. There's a law in New York City, if your dog poops, you have to pick it up. So his dog pooped on the street, he bent down to pick it up, the Chinese boy came from behind and kicked him in his backside. So he went down, face down on the dog poop. Then he got up and asked, "You idiot, why did you do this to me?" The boy said, "That's for Titanic." Said, "You idiot, what do I have to do with Titanic?" Goldberg, Spielberg, iceberg, they're all same to me. So, every difference that we have, you and me look different, we are not able to enjoy the difference. We make every difference into a discriminatory process. Unfortunately, this has become the way of the world. Race, religion, nationality, ethnicity, you name it. If there's nothing else, we'll find something which doesn't exist. Goldsmith, blacksmith, all kinds of distinctions, endless. What is the solution? See, when we sit here, this is my body, that's your body. No way to mix these two things up. That is yours, this is mine. That's one kind, this is another kind. This is my mind, that's your mind. No way to mix it up. This is one kind, that's another kind. If you're identified only with your body, you will naturally always look at me as something different. If you're identified with your thought process, you'll always see me as something very different. But there is no such thing as my life and your life. This life is same. This body can never be the same. This mind will never be the same. But this is a living cosmos. I captured this much life, you captured that much life, that's all. It's like, did you girls blow soap bubbles when you were younger, or you still do? You still blowing bubbles? Now, if you blew your bubble came this big, my bubble came this big. Oh, big bubble, small bubble, but poop it went. Now we are not saying this is my air, this is your air, isn't it? Yes or no? Fundamental life process, the identity with fundamental life process has not happened. We've gotten identified with the surface. The moment you identified with your body, you're a female, I'm a male. Gender is acting like two separate species in the world right now. Yes? Gender, barely people need each other. In spite of that, they're acting like they're separate species. Every small thing that is said, boom, it blows up because we are too much identified either with our body or with our thought process, our beliefs, ideologies. What we need is a deeper identity. Can I take a couple of minutes? In yoga, we look at human mind as 16 parts. We can make this into 4 categories. These 4 dimensions of mind are referred to as buddhi, ahankara, manas and chitta. Buddhi means the intellect. Your intellect, do you want it sharp or dull? You must choose right now, I'm going to bless you. Sharp. So it's a cutting instrument. It's like a knife. Knife should be used for certain things only. If you use knife to do everything, then none of you girls are like this, I'm just looking for one of you. If you suppose use a knife to stitch a cloth, it'll be in tatters. Sometimes I'm wondering these days, your denims, maybe you're using a knife to stitch. And not you, you're good. So you cannot use a knife for everything, only for dissection you can use a knife. You cannot use a knife for everything. Right now, our education systems have become such, they're purely intellectual. The other dimensions of human intelligence are not even explored. Everything is intellectual. So all we are doing is dissect things, dissect things, dissect things. With this we will know certain things. Suppose I really want to know you, shall I dissect you? If I dissect you, I will know the condition of your heart, liver, kidney, spleen, everything, but you will be gone. Maybe by embracing you, I may know you, but by dissecting you, I will not know you, isn't it? This is what we are doing with intellect, we are constantly trying to dissect everything because our entire education system is focused just on the intellect. The next dimension is called ahankara. People generally think ahankara means ego. No, ahankara means identity. Depending upon what you're identified with, accordingly your intellect will function that way. Today tell yourself, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. You will see your intellect functions just for that. You tell yourself, I'm Indian, 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 it will work just for that. Yes or no? You just see the moment you're identified with something, what you're identified with always looks right, something else always looks wrong, isn't it? So this is the nature of the intellect. What is the identity? Accordingly it functions. So in this culture, we had a system, before we start education for a child, first thing is, he must say, aham brahmasmi. This means, my identity is with the universe. You must establish a larger identity before you empower somebody with education, because education is empowerment. If you empower somebody with narrow identity, they will do something else. See, right now what is science and technology doing? The cutting-edge science is all going to military use, isn't it? The most horrible things that have been done on the planet have been empowered by science and technology, unfortunately. The greatest gifts that we have turned against us simply because of our small identity. I am India or I am Pakistan, I am this or that, endlessly it is going on. It is just a narrow identity which makes a human being absolutely dangerous. You can call it crime, you can call it evil, you can call it genocide. Essentially, it's limited identity, isn't it? So one fundamental thing that we need to do in our education systems is that everybody has a limitless identity. Identify at least with the world, if not with the universe. If you cannot conceptualize the universe, at least your identity is global. Now the next dimension of the mind is called as manas. If you want to continue that knife ideology or analogy, knife is there, ahankara is the hand that holds it. It is the hand that holds the knife which determines whether this knife is going to save a life or take a life, isn't it so? It is not the knife which is dangerous, every day knife is saving more lives than taking lives, isn't it so? Knives are saving lives, but in the wrong hand, it will take a life. So the hand has to be tempered, the hand has to be studied. Nothing wrong with the knife, the sharper it is, the better it is. Knife should be sharp or no? Knife should be as sharp as possible. It is the hand that holds it which makes the difference. Now this hand is connected to what is called as manas, which is a silo of memory. See, right now, you call this my body, but this is just a silo of memory. There is evolutionary memory, there is genetic memory, there is karmic memory, there's articulate and inarticulate levels of memory, conscious and unconscious levels of memory. Like this, there are many dimensions of memory. Do you remember how your great-grandmother 10 generations ago looked like? No, but her nose is sitting on your face right now. Satakshi, I got the name right for you? See? Her nose is sitting on your face or no? Definitely. Your skin remembers the skin tone of your forefathers 1,000,000 years ago, yes or no? So this is memory. What you call as my body is 1,000,000,000,000 times more memory than what you ever can carry in your mind. So this memory is important, and how it transmits itself into the intellect depends on the identity. How you identified, accordingly this memory will play. If you identified with a limited identity, then this memory will become against everybody else. If your identity is a larger identity, then this memory functions for everybody's well-being. So the fundamental thing is, your identification has to evolve. How does your identity evolve? The fourth dimension of intelligence is referred to as chitta. Chitta means an intelligence without an iota of memory. When we say memory, memory is a certain boundary. See, I remember these three are my friends, they're in my boundary. These people I don't remember, they're out of my boundary, isn't it so? Hello? Who is my friend, who is not my friend, who I love, who I hate, is just a question of memory, isn't it? Who is my brother, who is my sister, who is my father, who is my mother, is it just a question of memory? Memory in your mind and your genetic memory, isn't it so? It's all this memory functioning. So there is an intelligence which is beyond memory, which doesn't have an iota of memory. Where there is no memory, there is no boundary, it's a boundless intelligence. This is a living cosmos which is intelligent. It is a living intelligence of its own. Now, this dimension of intelligence also exists within us. The moment you touch this dimension of intelligence, all your limited identities will collapse. And in the yogic culture, in a very mischievous way, it is said, you must understand this in the right context, because you're looking serious, it scares me, huh? Hello? Do something to show me you're not so serious people. Because, see, suppose somebody comes and tells you, my grandmother is serious, how do you understand? She's on the way out. That's what it means if you're serious. So in the yogic culture it is said, if you touch your chitta, if you touch an intelligence beyond memory, they say, God will become your slave. Whatever you wish, it just happens for you, because you're not stuck in the framework of memory anymore, your intelligence. So, if we want an unprejudiced world genuinely unprejudiced world, because today people who call themselves, people who seem to be fighting all the time for somebody, they are highly prejudiced too, in a different way, in a reverse way. This is not going to help. Pushing one injustice against another injustice is not an answer. It is not an answer for the well-being of this world. It is important that your experience of life is beyond the limitations of the boundaries of your memory, which means your body, your mind, your intellect. Beyond that, you have an experience. If your experience of life transcends the limitations of your physical nature, then we use this most corrupted word rather, a highly corrupted word called spirituality. This is what spirituality means. Spirituality doesn't mean looking up, looking down, going to heaven, no. Spiritual process means your experience of life has crossed the limitations of your physical nature. It's only because of physical body, there is a clear-cut boundary between you and me, isn't it? Yes or no? Suppose you didn't have a body and I didn't have a body, we would be all over the place, isn't it? Yes or no? So, because of our identifications with physical forms, I am different, you are different. Now this difference slowly matures into discrimination. Sorry, did it answer your question?